From Saqqara, we headed towards Dashur, with a quick stop for lunch before arriving at the Red Pyramid, also known as the North Pyramid, and by locals as the Bat Pyramid. Said to be the first true-sided pyramid and the third overall pyramid built by Pharaoh Sneferu. He was really cranking them out. It's dated to circa 2590 BCE, 4th Dynasty, Old Kingdom. 200 cubits high, 420 cubits for the base. Slope angle of 43 degrees, 40 minutes. The entrance is approximately a third of the way up on the northern face, and a modern yet precarious staircase provides the access. Core masonry is red limestone, which is heavily eroded. It's really in bad shape. Casing was Tura limestone, and very little remains as it was quarried in the Middle Ages for buildings in Cairo. This was the first time I lost the bandana. The last time was somewhere inside the pyramid. The descending passage is 200 feet in length, with a 27-degree slope, cramped to the point that even I have to crouch. The wooden ramp with metal treads and handrails are modern additions, as well as a ventilation system. Several individuals experienced claustrophobia and bailed out.
Hold on, I got someone coming back up.
Yeah, I'm getting claustrophobic. I'm freaking out.
Come on! Smells great in here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, pure shit, but it's been this thousands and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they used to burn.
The smell of ammonia was overwhelming.
Oh yeah, I remember. We have half an hour in there.
And the ceiling surface was stained red. Is that from heat or a chemical reaction?
So it's red.
Yeah. There's some weak floorboards up here.
The walls are grayish, tan, but the ceiling is red.
The walls are kind of smooth too, huh?
Oh, you know, we are just at the beginning. We need to descend that log and then descend down again.
Ceiling's bright red. Tell you what, you're almost there.
Notice a step up into the horizontal corridor. I'm unsure of the purpose.
All right, you're almost there. It's got to step up.
How can I keep up from it far back? I'm on.
We made it. First chamber. Enters on the left, exits on the right.
Oh, that's cool.
One.
Dick. Oh my god. Okay, Bill, come. I don't know.
The first chamber has an 11-step corbelled ceiling and deep staining.
Passage to the second chamber. No more of that red rock. Another coffer.
Keep going, and
ceiling.
remember, tell them they have to just take a picture and come down, because we've got a queue developing here.
The second chamber is a 13-step corbelled ceiling, same staining, and a modern staircase to the third chamber. Most noteworthy, it's directly under the apex of the pyramid. Seems like an inconvenient layout for a tomb. Limited storage space for possessions, and no ramp to the burial chamber. Do they just shimmy up a ladder and pull the mummy up with a rope?
We have to scratch the carpet, so let's
So we can't do what we did yesterday.
nudge them up.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Okay, Bobby. It's okay. Got it.
Structure. Do you see down there?
Yeah.
Very old megalithic structure that I believe was weathered and eroded well before the pyramid was built over it. Essentially, the pyramid was built over it, I think, to protect it, that type of thing. Because I suspect this was a very ancient, sort of, we'll call it sacred site. And then they built the pyramid over it. If you shine a light along the edge there, you can see the very clear demarcation between the older structure and the newer structure. The newer structure being nearly 5,000 years old, even according to conventional Egyptologists. The new structure
Babe, I'm gonna go.
is nearly 5,000 years old, according to conventional Egyptologists. Forget about, Muhammad and I think it might be even older. And then this older structure is much older, I think, by many, many millennia. I have no doubt that this older structure is pre-cataclysm.
Yeah.
The newer structure, I can't say for sure, but the newer structure is definitely a lot newer than the older one. The newer structure is minimally 2600 plus BC.
Do they feel that this pit then was here when they built the structure?
What?
Do they feel that the pit was here when they built the
I
structure?
feel it was here. I think the reason the pyramid's here is because this was here.
Okay.
And more or less, okay, so give an analogy from Massachusetts. We had the Pilgrims.
Right.
And there's something called Plymouth Rock, a big old ugly rock where they supposedly stepped. Right now there's a huge canopy and everything built over. There's a huge modern structure built over to protect it. I think that's the same thing here. But the modern structure here itself is almost 5,000 years old.
Okay.
Egyptologists say the floor was ripped up by robbers looking for treasure. Who cleared out the rubble? Where'd it go? Was there actually ever a finished floor? This chamber was by far the worst when it came to ammonia. Borderline sickening. One explanation is bat urine. I saw 0 bats. Another explanation is that guardians spray ammonia to keep the bats away. An alternate theory is that the pyramid's actual function was to produce ammonia. Upon leaving the top chamber, I saw this. Doubtful they're tying up livestock at this level, so maybe an attachment point for a climbing rope. So the internal layout is 3 chambers. The first and the second are at ground level in a north-south axis, with the second being directly under the apex. The third is higher in the core masonry in an east-west axis. I find the offset between the first and second a bit curious. This is back in the second chamber, continuing to admire the ceiling, as well as carved graffiti. The block spanning the passage between the first and second chamber is massive, especially compared to the 2 courses to the left and right. It does, however, contain substantial cracks. And is this V-notch part of the original design, or damage from plug blocks being removed?
So the first chamber has 11 steps. Second, third, and 13.
That was me double checking my math, and then getting a few more pictures of the first chamber ceiling. This first horizontal passage also has some cracks in the blocks, and it appears that some have been filled with mortar, which is a way to monitor future damage.
It's the ascending tunnel. The ascending passage. These are gray. Here's where it turns to red. Might just be discolored from heat.
How many times can I say red? Guess we'll find out. I just find this really intriguing and never got an answer to the mystery. Not even a we don't know.
It's not naturally red.
I know that one squeaky one scared.
It's not naturally red.
Yeah, it is.
What's going on here? Underneath, where it's broken away, it's not red. Wow.
This is a good food workout. Good workout. It's leg day.
As I waited for the rest of the group to exit and load the bus, I scoped out the rocks on the ground, walked to the eastern side, and saw the bent pyramid in the distance. I tried to round the corner to see the mortuary temple ruins, casing stones, and pyramidion, but was called back to the bus. Quick side note, supposedly the Great Pyramid is unique in containing concavities, or being so-called 8-sided. I disagree. Add the Red Pyramid, and as we'll see the third Giza Pyramid, to the list. Strong winds in this area, so the camera audio becomes terrible. Further in the distance is the Black Pyramid. We didn't get to see it, but I would like to.